जय श्री माताजी। ऑनलाइन उपस्थित विश्व के सभी साधकों का सुबह के ध्यान सत्र में हार्दिक स्वागत है। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी को वंदन करके हम सब ध्यान की स्थिति में बैठते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी आज का ध्यान सत्र शुरू करने की कृपया अनुमति प्रदान कीजिए। हम सब सामूहिक बंधन लेते हैं। अपना चित्त हृदय में लाते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी कृपावंत होकर आप हमारे हृदय में विराजिए। श्री माताजी आपकी कृपा में हमारा हृदय निर्मल, शुद्ध एवं विशाल बनाइए। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी आपकी कृपा में हम केवल शुद्ध आत्मा हैं। तीन महामंत्र तत्पश्चात श्री गणेश मंत्र। जय श्री माता जी। हम सब संतुलन करते हैं। राइट हैंड पृथ्वी तत्व पर, चित्त इड़ा नाड़ी और सहस्रार पर। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के इड़ा नाड़ी पर तमोगुण के सभी बाधक तत्व भूमि तत्व में विलीन कर दीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर सामूहिकता की इड़ा नाड़ी शुद्ध कर दीजिए। राइट हैंड गोद में, लेफ्ट हैंड आकाश की तरफ। चित्त पिंगला नाड़ी और सहस्रार पर। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के पिंगला नाड़ी पर रजोगुण के सभी बाधक तत्व अहंकार आकाश तत्व में विलीन कर दीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर सामूहिकता की पिंगला नाड़ी शुद्ध कर दीजिए। लेफ्ट हैंड गोद में। चित्त मध्य नाड़ी और सहस्रार पर। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपा कर आप हमें संतुलन दीजिए, हमें वर्तमान में रखिए। अपना चित्त मूलाधार चक्र पर लाते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के मूलाधार चक्र पर श्री गणेश जी की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए, कार्यान्वित कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर आप हमें अबोध बनाइए, हमें सुबुद्धि दीजिए। चित्त मूलाधार पर स्थिर करके श्री गणेश अथर्वशीर्ष का पठन करते हैं।
ॐ नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षात् आत्मासि नित्यं ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वं माम् अववक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवदातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचा नमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्तात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरात्तात् अवदक्षिणात्तात् अवश्च ऊर्ध्वात्तात् अवाधरात्तात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात् त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वम् आनन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्द द्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति त्वं भूमिरापो नलो अनिलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं त्वं ब्रह्मा स्वं विष्णु स्वं रुद्र स्वं इन्द्र स्वं अग्नि स्वं वायु स्वं सूर्य स्वं चन्द्रमा स्वं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्वरोम गणादीं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादीं तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुलसितं तारेण रुद्धम् एतत्तवमनुस्वरूपं गकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्च अन्त्यरूपं बिन्दुः उत्तररूपं नादः सन्धानं संहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेशविद्या गणकऋषिः निःसृत गायत्री छन्दः गणपतिर्देवता ॐ गं गणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ते प्रचोदयात् एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं रदं च वरदं हस्तैर्बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणम् अच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादौ प्रकृतेः पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः। नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्ते अस्तु लंबोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्ननाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः। साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः।
चित्त मूलाधार पर श्री कुंडलिनी गौरी माता साक्षात। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कुंडलिनी गौरी माता साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। अपना चित्त मध्य नाड़ी से सहस्रार पर लाते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी कृपावंत होकर आप हमारे सहस्रार पर विराजिए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी कृपा कर आप हमारा आत्म साक्षात्कार कार्यान्वित कीजिए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी कृपा कर हमें निर्विचारिता प्रदान कीजिए। कृपा कर हमें निर्विकल्प ध्यान में स्थित कीजिए। जय श्री माता जी। इसी ध्यान की स्थिति में अमृतवाणी आत्मसात करते हैं। क्रिसमस पूजा गणपतिपुळे 1998 पहला भाग।
Today, long time back, Christ was born. You all know the story of his birth and of all the sufferings he had to go through. He is the one who has given us a model of a Sahajayoga. For he didn't live for himself, in no way, but he lived for others, working out the Agya Chakra. You may be divine, you may be very powerful, but this world is so cruel that they don't understand spirituality. They don't understand the spiritual greatness. Not only that, but there are many factors which attack spirituality. They have always done it. Every saint has suffered a lot. But I think Christ has suffered the most. As you know, he was endowed with all the powers of Shri Ganesh, as he is the reincarnation of Shri Ganesh. The first of them was his innocence. He was the eternal child, we should say. That he couldn't understand the cruelties and the hypocrisy of this stupid world. Still, if you understand, what can you do about it? But with great courage he took birth in the country where people had no idea of spirituality. I've read a book about him saying that he came to Kashmir. He met one of my forefathers, Shalivana. It's very interesting because it's all in Sanskrit. And the writer perhaps did not know Sanskrit. So he has given everything in Sanskrit language, which is not very congenial, I am sure, to the Western people. Thank God he didn't know Sanskrit, otherwise it would have been very dangerous. It's written in that he asked Christ, why have you come to India? So he said, this is my country. That's why I've come here, where people respect spirituality. But I live among people who do not understand spirituality at all. His conversation with him was very, very interesting because Shalivana said that there is more reason that you should go back to your country and teach them Nirmala Tattvam. That's the principle of purification. Went back, after 3.5 years, he was crucified. I personally think the big difference between the Western execution and Indian is that in the West, killing is a very great profession. With the slightest pretext, they kill people. Anybody who is a saint was killed, or they call him a madcap. This is the best way to avoid spirituality. While in India, if a saint says anything, then he is not challenged. Never. But they believe in it. Because he is a saint, he is a much higher personality than we are. Though there were very nasty people around and they tortured them, but as a whole, the public, the people, respected them. If there are false gurus, normally they don't stay in this country because they know they'll be found out. Also, they are so money oriented that they go to America or to some foreign countries and settle down there to make money. This is one of the signs, one should say. This may be one of the reasons why Christ was born in a very, very ordinary family. He had no proper bed to sleep as a child was. It's all described. Where he slept, how his mother and father lived in a place where there were cows and calves. It was to show that spirituality doesn't need any luxury, doesn't need any pomp and show. It is a power within. It is a glow and light within, which shows automatically. You don't have to do anything to show it off. Such a person doesn't have any sense of money and other things as possessions. He was bothered about people who were suffering physically, even the lepers. And he tried to cure them. He tried to help so many people who were sick physically. Because at that time there were no hospitals, no doctors. So his attention was drawn to people who were suffering physically. Also mentally he tried to prepare them. There are so many beautiful sermons on the Mount. In a way, that time, people were not so materialistic. So they listened to him. We can't say how many understood. It's very important that if you are not a realized soul, then it's difficult to understand spirituality. The one who is talking about spirituality and the one who is listening to it, both of them have to have minimum of realization. So from his beautiful life that I see, we have to learn that unless and until we are realized soul, we will be torturing the spirit of Christ. We have seen it's happening. All those who talk of Christ, he has said it very clearly. You'll be calling me Christ, Christ. I won't recognize you. Very clearly he has said it. I don't know why they didn't remove it from the Bible. It means those who will talk and preach and dress up to show off that they are spiritual in the name of Christ, he will not recognize them. It's as simple as that. And this time now, when is the last judgment, he is going to judge the whole world on the basis of spirituality, which means vibrations. His judgment has already started. I have seen it. You can see in so many countries, things are just disappearing. All their ego, all their aggressiveness, all their cruelties are being challenged. And those who did wrong in the war also are taken to task. So in the history also, those who have done wrong to any community, to any people, they all will be taken to task. They had no business to be aggressive on people and to torture them. This is what is Shri Ganesha's principle, acting through Sahajayoga. Christ didn't say that, but he did say there will be last judgment. On one side, he was very kind and compassionate. On the other side, he was really Shri Ganesha because he took a hunter to hit the people who were selling things in the temple. You cannot have business in the name of religion. What a big thing it is to understand. But the Christians didn't follow that. They did not. I don't know where have they gone. As we have Mahatma Gandhi, who talked of spirituality and nothing else. Adhyatma, all the time. But his successors who came put him somewhere with his spirituality and started a new world, new ideas, and a new style of life. Those who are supposed to be his followers are now wanting to have many pubs and also all kinds of things. Can you imagine? This Congress was started by Mahatma Gandhi. And the Congress walas are doing all this. Where are they going to lead? The beauty of this country is, the treasure of this country is spirituality. Instead of taking to spirituality, where are they going? They may not be Christians, but they respect Christ. They respect Bible. I must tell you, is a fact. People don't know. They are not Christians, means in the sense they are not baptized, but they respect because they understand that there was so much of spirituality about Christ. He was the personification of spirituality. That's the beauty of Indians. If somebody is a Hindu or a Muslim, makes no difference. There were many Muslims who were saints and Sufis in India. They are all respected by everyone, whether they are Muslims or Hindus. So for Christ, nobody has any objection at all. On the contrary, you saw yesterday how they were all happy about it. Because they are realized souls. But even if they are not, in this country, Christ is very much respected. They can't understand. How can they scrutinize the life of Christ? How can they judge him? And how can they make vulgar films about it? This they can't bear it. Because the respect that they have for spirituality exists very much more than it exists outside. Because in the name of Christ, people have done such a lot of wrong. Such a lot of killing has been done. All kinds of wrong things have been accepted. With all this, one doesn't understand how they have judged Christ. For example, what I know in England, I was shocked that if somebody dies, they drink. If somebody is born, they drink. Drinking is the only way they have relationships. How can you drink? I asked him, he said, why? Christ created wine? I said, when? In a wedding? I said, in a wedding? That was not wine, that was just the juice of the grapes that they grew there. We call it drakshas in our language. How can that be wine? It has to be fermented, it has to be rotten. How can that be? So, this is biggest dharma, to drink. But in India we know, though nobody has said anything against drinking, but we know drinking is a sinful thing. You see it every day. Everybody knows that if you drink, you become absolutely out of your mind. There's nothing to be said on a religious platform, but everybody knows that what is drinking is. Not that people abroad don't know, they also know. But somehow it has become a fashion. Even in our country it has now been introduced, I don't know how, after independence, people have started drinking. Every party they drink. Also in the name of Christ on Christmas Day. It's such an insult to his beautiful, holy life. So when they came on this earth, perhaps all their powers of holiness were destroyed. The very good thing about Indians is that at least they respect. They respect a holy place. That is something good about them. And they know what is holiness is. Now, of course, they are becoming very modern and Americanized, but still they know what is wrong, what should not be done. With Sahajayoga now I am very happy to say that the foreign Sahajogis also have become very beautiful. I am surprised because in their culture there is no spirituality. But I don't know how they left all that nonsense and have come out like lotuses, beautifully, with such beautiful fragrance of spirituality. This is something, a miracle. Everybody says, Mother, we can't believe it. How could have happened? How did you manage this? I would say it's the blessing of Christ. They saw how people are working out in the name of Christ in a very degraded manner, and they developed a kind of a awareness that definitely is something wrong with this. This is not Christ. This is not his holy life they are depicting. It's something else. And that is how I think in the West there's a greater urge, greater ascending force. Yesterday somebody came and told me, Mother, there is no collective meditation. I was very happy to hear that. What is most important is meditation in Sahaja. No doubt about it. But the foreigners do meditation much more than Indians do, very surprising. And foreign men and women are very highly equipped, I must say, as far as spirituality is concerned. Especially Russians. I was surprised that in America, they told me, Mother, these Americans are not Sahajogis. I said, why? They don't have that respect for you. They don't meditate. Those who do not meditate are not Sahajogis. I said, I agree. And they make all the Americans to meditate. I don't know why in these Eastern Bloc people, Bulgarians and Russians and all these Romanians, how they have taken to Sahajayoga so much. Of course, they had the curse of communism on them. Maybe that they felt that they have missed something in life and they went deep down into themselves, and that is how they have achieved it. But I have to tell Indians that they have to meditate. Indians have one or two very bad qualities, and that is one of them is groupism. For example, if they are Brahmins, they will sit together. If they are Kayasthas, they will sit together. If they are Baniyas, they will sit together. If that is not so, then by another name they will group together. This is the worst curse of my country. Because once you start grouping together, you can never see the good of others and you can never see the bad of yourself. This grouping together can bring a lot of problems in this country. At the time of Christ, they had very different type of people. Either they were interested in spirituality or they were not. Now we have people here who are interested in spirituality. but still their one leg is in the water. Where age-old problems still exist. And this is the ruin of our country. We cannot combine together. We cannot be friends with each other. Of course, not in Sahajayoga. I must say, it has been solved very well. But if you see, even at the time of Christ, he had problems with his disciples. Especially something happened with Peter. And he is the one who said, Satan will meet you. Because I think people fall into the group of satanic forces. And he said that he removed the satanic devils from many people and put them in the pigs. It's true. There is a satanic force which is working very strong. The more we develop security of spirituality, the more they will develop. The satanic force is in a different form in the West and a different form in the East. But I would like to tell for them to be careful how to find out the satanic forces in the West. You may not be affected by that because you are realized souls, but you will have to fight it. You will have to fight it. For example, racialism. Racialism is still very powerful there, very, very powerful. And you have to fight racialism through marrying people who belong to other races. But still I find difficult to marry a black person to a white person. It's an impossible situation. If I try that, I don't know what happens. Once we had such a marriage, I must tell you. And a white lady, French lady, was married to a black man. Instead of the French lady dominating, this black man dominated. So I was quite surprised, how could that be? So the reason was, I think he was taking the revenge, maybe the respite. So first of all, tremendous love and affection has to grow between the people. This color is so skin deep. It has nothing to do with the love inside, nothing. It's so skin deep. Thank God in our country, you can have a wife who will be very dark, husband will be very fair, or the vice versa. But they never look at that from that angle. I don't think that exists in this country. But we have another kind. See, just the typical human problem is that he discriminates through ego, which I must say Christ has tried to fight your ego. He was born in a very humble family. And he was not a white-skinned man, no. In your language he was brown, but in Indian language he was black. But when it comes to spirituality, you just see the enlightened one. You don't see what color they have the skin. It's very, very superficial. But this is one of the enemies of the Western life, I think, which must be conquered. Materialism is another one. But the worst of all, which is against Christ, is immorality. Immorality is so much accepted in the West. All kinds of immoral behavior is accepted. Like they say that all these immoral people say vote for somebody, he becomes the president of America. Then it's all right, doesn't matter. All kinds of immorality is allowed. But that is absolutely against Christ. Absolutely. People don't understand that immorality will lead them to a kingdom which I don't know what to call, because it's even worse than animal kingdom. And they are so immoral. They listen to people like Freud as if they have no brains, they have no spirit to take note of such a man. Only after Sahajayoga, model of Christ's life, you can have. Whatever is past is over and finished. Today now you are realized souls, and morality is your strength. Forget about the past, and I'm sure you can get many more people under the banner of Sahajayoga if you lead a very, very moral life. At the same time, another very bad enemy we have is our anger. So they are very proud. They'll say, I'll now get angry. You know, I'm very angry. They are not ashamed about it. And they go on saying that I'm very angry, as if it's not wrong to say I'm very angry. Now they say, I hate. I mean, imagine any Indian language, if they use this word, it would be meaning I'm committing sin. So all this aggressiveness comes from anger. If somebody has to be angry, he should be angry with himself. Best is to get rid of anger. You can pull your hair, you can bite yourself, you can use your pillow to hit yourself. That may be the best way of taking out your anger. But see, for what are you angry? Sometimes it's absolutely useless. Sometimes it has no meaning. Sometimes it's absolutely maddening, stupid. But as long as you stop saying, I am very angry, that's it. that's the time you should know you are falling down completely. So, Christ didn't talk of all the subtle things I have been talking to you because that was left to me. Without realization, how can you talk about subtler things? You cannot. Last time I told you about the vibrations. What is it? What does it stand for? And how you get the subtle energy which we call as tanmatra of our light, tejas, of water, jal and prithvi, agni. But I didn't tell you of one, very special one, which is in English language you call it ether. But ether is the energy which is managed by another tanmatra, we call it akash. Especially today, because it is Christ who has sacrificed his life to open our Agya Chakra, that we have reached that state of Akash. Without him it would not have been possible. We can have general communication, like we can talk to people, we can say things, we can also use our fingers to express ourselves, our hands to communicate. But to communicate vibrations, you have to have vibrations. Otherwise, you cannot feel another person. But if you are at the Agya level, means you are mental, absolutely mental, then your vibrations also are dwindling in the sense you don't know what really they are saying. You can't judge your vibrations because these vibrations are mental. They'll say, Mother, we asked the vibrations. I said, really? But you don't have any vibrations, how can I ask the vibration? It's a very common thing. We asked the vibration, we found from the vibrations. It's not possible because you are just mental. Now what Christ has done is to put you away from the mental level. That is the most difficult. While I am surprised, those who follow Christianity have the worst mental position. They are mentally absolutely there, like, I don't know what to call, like the fog of Delhi. That you can't cross. That's what was broken was Christ. How much we should be obliged to him that he removed the greatest hurdle in the human ascent. And that one was to break this agya, this mental being within us.
जय श्री माता जी, कृपया ध्यान की स्थिति बनाए रखें। जय श्री माता जी। श्री आदि शक्ति मंत्र। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री आदि शक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवै नमो नमः। आरती की तैयारी करते हैं।
Shri Mahalakshmi Saraswati Mahakali Triguణಾತ್ಮಿಕಾ ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಆದಿಶಕ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಶ್ರೀ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ದೇವ್ಯೈ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ಓಂ ತ್ವಮೇವ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಕಲ್ಕಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಆದಿಶಕ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಶ್ರೀ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ದೇವ್ಯೈ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ತ್ವಮೇವ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಕಲ್ಕಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಹಸ್ರಾರ ಸ್ವಾಮಿನೇ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಪ್ರದಾಯಿನೇ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಶ್ರೀ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ದೇವ್ಯೈ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ಶ್ರೀ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ದೇವ್ಯೈ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ಶ್ರೀ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ದೇವ್ಯೈ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ಬೋಲೋ ಶ್ರೀ ಆದಿಶಕ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಜಿ ಶ್ರೀ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ದೇವಿ ಕಿ ಜೈ.
परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपने हमें आत्म साक्षात्कार दिया, परम चैतन्य से आशीर्वादित किया, हमारा आज्ञा चक्र खोलकर हमें परमात्मा के साम्राज्य में प्रस्थापित किया। इन सब के लिए हम आपके हृदय से ऋणी है, आभारी है। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमें अंदर से शुद्ध कीजिए, हमें निर्मल तत्व से आशीर्वादित कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमारा आध्यात्मिक पुनरुत्थान कीजिए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमारा क्रोध, अहंकार, आक्रामकता, हिंसक प्रवृत्ति नष्ट कीजिए। प्रेम और करुणा की शक्ति हमें प्रदान कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमें क्षमाशील तथा त्यागवान बनाइए। श्री माता जी, सारे विश्व में मंगलता, पवित्रता प्रस्थापित कीजिए। कृपा कर हमें ध्यान की गहराई में स्थित कीजिए। श्री माता जी, हमें गुटबाजी से अलिप्त रखिए, हमें वैश्विक सामूहिकता में प्रस्थापित कीजिए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमें रंग भेद, जाति भेद से दूर रखिए। कृपा कर हमारे अंदर परम चैतन्य कार्यान्वित कीजिए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपके श्री चरणों पर हमारा कोटि कोटि नमन, कोटि कोटि नमन, अनंत कोटि नमन। जय श्री माता जी। सामूहिक बंधन लेते हैं। जय श्री माता जी। आज के कार्यक्रम, आज शाम का ध्यान ठीक 7 बजे प्रतिष्ठान पुणे यूट्यूब चैनल पर लाइव प्रसारित होगा। आज का ध्यान सत्र यहीं पे संपन्न होता है। अब हम सहज संगीत का आनंद उठाते हैं। आज का दिन सबके लिए आनंदमय, मंगलमय रहे। जय श्री माता जी।
सुतं भजे गणेशमीशनन्दनम् एकदन्तवक्रतुण्डनागयज्ञसूत्रकम् रक्तगात्रधूम्रनेत्रशुभ्रवस्त्रमण्डितं कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्ष्णमोऽस्तु ते गजाननम्। मूषकाधिरोहिणम् अग्निकोटि सूर्यज्योति वज्रकोटि निर्मलम् पाशपाणि चक्रपाणि मूषकाधिरोहिणम् अग्निकोटि सूर्यज्योति वज्रकोटि निर्मलम् चित्रमाण भक्तिजाल भालचन्द्र शोभितम् कल्पवृक्ष भक्तरक्ष्ममुस्तु ते गजाननम् भजे गणेशमीशनन्दनम् एकदन्तवक्रतुण्डनागयज्ञसूत्रकम् रक्तगात्रधूम्रनेत्रशुभ्रवस्त्रमण्डितम् कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्ष्णमोऽस्तु ते गजाननम् दिव्यवाहिनी कालजाल लोकपाल वन्दितम् भूतभाव्य हव्य काव्य भृगुर्भागवर्चितम् दिव्यवाहिनी कालजाल लोकपाल वन्दितम् पूर्णब्रह्म सूर्यवर्ण पुरुषम् पुरातनम् कल्पवृक्ष भक्तरक्ष्ममुस्तु ते गजाननम् भजे गणेशमीशनन्दनम् एकदन्तवक्रतुण्डनागयज्ञसूत्रकम् रक्तगात्रधूम्रनेत्रशुभ्रवस्त्रमण्डितम् कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्ष्णमोऽस्तु ते गजाननम् विश्वहर्ता विश्वकर्ता यत्र तत्र पूजितम् विश्ववीर्य विश्वसूर्य विश्वकर्म निर्मलम् विश्वहर्ता विश्वकर्ता यत्र तत्र पूजितम् चतुर्मुखम् चतुर्भुजम् सेवितम् चतुर्युगम् कल्पवृक्ष भक्तरक्ष्णमुस्तु ते गजाननम् भजे गणेशमीशनन्दनम् एकदन्तवक्रतुण्डनागयज्ञसूत्रकम् रक्तगात्रधूम्रनेत्रशुभ्रवस्त्रमण्डितम् कल्पवृक्षभक्तरक्ष्णमोऽस्तु ते गजाननम् नमोऽस्तु ते गजाननम् नमोऽस्तु ते गजाननम्
प्रधान रूप गणेशाचे ओंकार प्रधान रूप गणेशा